The envelope is from the nursing home, and you almost set it aside with the junk mail. You open it standing at the kitchen counter. It's a statement. One line near the bottom is circled in the office's own pen. Amount due, $9,800. Not a copay, not a deposit. The full cost of 1 month of your mother's care, and the letter says it's yours to pay. So you do the thing everyone does. You call, you explain that she's on Medicaid, that the application went in, that this has to be a mistake. And the person on the phone is kind about it, and completely unmoved, because the bill is real. It's 1 month the application didn't reach back far enough to cover. I've sat with families holding that exact letter. So before you feel a single ounce of panic, let me tell you 2 things. First, this is fixable, and you have more time than that envelope wants you to believe. Second, in a few minutes I'm going to show you the one small habit that keeps this bill off your kitchen table entirely. Stay with me. Let's place your family in this, because the exposure depends on where you're standing right now. Picture your mother. Maybe she's 78 and still in her own home. Maybe she's already had the fall, already in a bed at a facility while everyone figures out the money. She isn't thinking about filing windows. She's thinking about whether the food is any good and when you're visiting next. The paperwork was never hers to worry about. Now picture yourself. You're the one who handles her mail now. You're the one who'll sit across a desk from an admissions coordinator or on hold with the state Medicaid office, trying to document 5 years of her financial life. That's the two-body part of this. Your parent lives the care, you live the paperwork. And the paperwork is where the money is won or lost. Now the scale. A nursing home in this country runs, on average, about $9,800 a month for a shared room. That's the national median as of this year. In some states it's less. In Alaska and a few others, it's roughly double. So when a single month falls through a coverage gap, that isn't a rounding error on the family budget. That's a mortgage payment, sometimes 2. And the gap I'm describing didn't exist in this shape a year ago. The rules changed. Quietly, the way these things usually do, folded into a much larger law. Most families won't hear about it until they're standing at that counter with the envelope in their hand. You're hearing about it now, and that head start is the whole advantage. So here's what actually changed, in plain language. Medicaid has always had something called retroactive coverage. The idea behind it is humane. Care doesn't wait for paperwork. Your mother has a stroke on the 5th of the month, she's in a facility that same day, and nobody is filling out a Medicaid application in the ambulance, so the program built in a cushion. As long as she was eligible during those earlier months, Medicaid would reach back and pay for care that already happened, even before the application was filed. For decades, that cushion was 3 months, 90 days on the coverage side. You had a full quarter to get the application in and still have those earlier bills covered. Then came the change. A federal law passed in the summer of 2025 shortened that window. Starting January 1st, 2027, the cushion for most people who need nursing home care, meaning people 65 and older, and people with disabilities, drops from 90 days to 60. 3 months of grace becomes 2. And for adults covered under Medicaid-expansion, it drops further still, all the way down to 30 days. Hold that number, 60, because the reason it matters isn't the number by itself. It's what the number does to your calendar. Put a real date on it, because that's when it lands. Say your mother's care begins on March 1st. Under the old 90-day rule, you could file as late as the end of May and still have March covered. Under the new 60-day rule, that same late May filing no longer reaches March at all. The month is stranded. Same filing date, same paperwork, same everything, and 1 month that used to be covered is now on you. So think about what those 30 lost days actually cost. Under the old rule, you could file in month 3 and still have month 1 covered. Under the new rule, month 1 is gone. It's yours. And we just said what 1 month costs. Around $9,800, sitting on a statement with your name where the payer's name should be. Why 60 and not 90? I'm not going to pretend this was aimed at your family. It wasn't. It was a budget decision inside a very large bill. the kind of provision that saves the federal government money by moving a cost somewhere else. And the somewhere else is the kitchen table, yours. The cost didn't disappear, it just changed whose envelope it lands in. The cruel part is the timing trap, and it catches good people. The families who get hurt by this aren't careless. They're the ones who waited for things to settle, waited until mom was stable, waited until the dust cleared after the hospital, waited to be sure she even qualified before starting the paperwork. Every one of those instincts is reasonable, and every one of them quietly burns days off a window that just got shorter, which is why the fix isn't complicated, and it isn't about money, it's about when you start. I'll walk you through it, but first I want you to meet a family who learned this the expensive way, because their story is where the whole thing becomes real. Frank was 81 when he had the stroke. One side, sudden, the way it usually arrives. He went straight from the hospital into a skilled nursing facility, and his daughter Ellen did what most of us would do. She focused on him. She learned the names of the aides. She brought his glasses and the little radio he liked. The money, she figured, would sort itself out, because her father had Medicaid, and Medicaid pays for this. What Ellen didn't know was that Medicaid pays for this only if someone files the application, and files it in time. For 11 weeks, nobody did. Not out of neglect, out of the most human reason there is. Every time she sat down to start it, something at the facility needed her more that day, and she assumed, reasonably, that coverage already approved would simply catch up on its own. When she finally filed, the application was approved. Frank qualified. He had qualified the entire time, but the coverage only reached back as far as the window allowed, and the first month of his care, the month right after the stroke, fell just outside it. $8,900 in Frank's case, a bill for care that Medicaid would have covered if the paperwork had reached back 1 month further. Ellen paid it because you pay it. You don't leave your father's bill sitting unpaid. But she told me something afterward that I think about often. She said the hardest part wasn't the money. It was learning that the clock had been running the whole time she believed she was doing the right thing by waiting. That's the trap. No villain, no fine print she signed. Just a quiet window closing while a good daughter took care of her dad. And under the new rule, Ellen's window would have been 30 days shorter still. She would have lost even more. So let's make sure your family's window never closes on you. This is the shield. The shield here isn't a lawyer, and it isn't money. It's timing, and timing is free. 3 moves, in order. Move 1. Start the file the day care becomes likely. Not the day it's certain, the day it becomes likely. The moment a doctor says the word rehab, or facility, or long-term, that is your signal to open a folder. A physical one, a box, a drawer, whatever you'll actually use. Because the single thing that slows every Medicaid application down is the same thing every time: documents. Which brings us to Move 2. Move 2. Gather 5 years of her financial records now, before you need them. Medicaid looks back 5 years, and the application asks you to prove it. 5 years of bank statements, on every account, any life insurance, the deed, if there's a house, any large transfers or gifts. This is the part that eats weeks, because half of it means calling banks and waiting on the mail. If you start pulling it while she's still stable, it's a chore you do on a Sunday. If you start pulling it after a stroke, it's a race. Same task. Completely different pressure. Move 3. File at the first eligible moment, not the settled one. This is the instinct you'll have to override, so I'm going to say it plainly. Do not wait until the situation feels calm. Do not wait until you're certain she qualifies. File the application as soon as care begins, and let the state be the one to tell you yes or no. An application on record protects the coverage window. An application in your head does not. The date that counts is the date it's received, so get it received early, and know your number. For a parent 65 or older, from January 1st of 2027 forward, the window is 60 days, 2 months. Write it on the inside cover of the folder. 60. That number is the whole difference between coverage that reaches back over the gap and a statement with your name on it. That's the entire shield. Start the file at the first sign, gather the 5 years early, file at the first eligible moment, and know that the number is 60. Do those 4 things, and the envelope from the nursing home is just a statement that says paid. Now the honest part, because I would rather you hear the edges from me than discover them at the counter. This window is federal, but Medicaid is run by the states, and states differ in how they process, what they demand, and how fast they move. Some are quick. Some will lose your paperwork twice. Laws differ by state, and 1 hour with an elder law attorney costs less than 1 month of probate. If your parent's situation is at all complicated, a house, a second account, a gift to a grandchild a few years back, that 1 hour is the best money you will spend on this.
2 more edges worth knowing.
The 30-day window, the shorter one, applies to adults under Medicaid-expansion, not to a typical parent needing nursing home care. But know which category yours falls in before you assume, and retroactive coverage still requires that she was genuinely eligible in those earlier months. The window doesn't create eligibility, it only protects it. So the sooner you know where she actually stands, the sooner you know what you're protecting. So come back to that kitchen counter and the envelope. The difference between the version where it reads amount due and the version where it reads paid in full isn't luck and it isn't money. It's a folder you started early and an application you filed at the first sign instead of the settled one. Here is your one thing for tonight. Not a lawyer, not a form, not 5 years of statements, not yet, just this. Find out where your mother banks and how many accounts she actually has. One question tonight. Mom, which banks are yours right now? That's it. That's the first page in the folder, and it's the page everything else hangs on. Start there. Your parents handled everything for you once. If this helped, hit subscribe. I put out a new one of these twice a week, and I would rather you have the next shield before you need it than after. And if you know another family with a parent getting older, hit like. That's the only way this reaches them before their envelope does. 60 days, now you know the number. Most families won't, not until it's printed on a statement with their name where the payers should be. Yours isn't one of those families anymore. I'll see you in the next one.